Hey guys, this is Tiffany, and I am a speech pathologist who stutters. If you've seen my videos before, I've done a couple of videos on stuttering and speech pathology and stuff. And so what I'm going to be talking about today is a viewer request from a little bit ago on blocking and explaining kind of like what is happening when we are blocking. So what blocking is it's a type of stuttering, or it's a stuttering behavior where you have kind of a stoppage of speech, or at least a partial stoppage of speaking. And so it's where you kind of get stuck like that. So you, whether you get stuck where there's like no sound coming out, or it also could look different. It could be where sometimes you have sounds coming out in different places. So like maybe you're making noises like sometimes when I block, I'll have some noise coming out of my nose. And so I might say like my name is Tiffany. So it's different than a repetition because I'm not repeating the sound that I'm saying. It's just kind of things coming out of my mouth or my nose. It also could sound like about things like that. It's kind of a repetition, or it's kind of like repetition in a block, kind of put together. So there's a lot of variety of blocking, just like there's a lot of variety of stuttering, and people who stutter, we're all little snowflakes. We're all different and unique. I'm going to explain like what's happening when we are blocking. So first and foremost, I think it's important to note that not everyone who stutters blocks, and not everyone who who stutters like has other symptoms. Some people just block, and there's different reasons behind that, different theories behind that. Some people think that because there's so much tension associated with blocking, it is people who stutter are trying to hold back a repetition that would naturally come out more easily. But then some people don't think that that's true, that it's just because there's so much tension you can't get anything out. So there's different theories on that. Well, from like a personal perspective, when I am stuttering, when I am blocking specifically, I feel tension in different parts of my body, and I feel like I cannot get the sound out. So if I am blocking on the word, like my name, for example, I'll go to that one because I block my name all the time. I might be saying like my name is Tiffany. So first of all, what was happening is I was going to say the T sound, and then when I was like going towards it, I got stuck before I could say it, before I could stop the air. Well, I stopped the air, but then I couldn't release the air. So in a sound like a T or a B or a P or a D or a K or a G, those are stop sounds. And so in order to make those sounds, you have to have your air from your lungs come up through your body and then stop really abruptly. And then in order to release that sound, the air has to like be released. So like it's kind of a harsh release. That's what makes a sound a stop sound, makes it what it is. And so when we're trying to do that, if we get blocked, then a lot of times we can't get that release out. So it's just kind of like we're stuck. So that's what was happening. And so what I was doing also is I was having some sounds come out of my nose, and then later I was having some like head jerks and like secondary behaviors are what they're called. And those are all like kind of in response to the stuttering. And so because I couldn't get the sound out, I was trying to displace my tension into other parts of my body to help me release it. And so the thing about secondary behaviors is like we learn them because they work once or a couple times. So I used to block, and then when I would shake my head, the sound would come out. So then I learned to do that, but then it stopped working. And that's kind of what happens is you kind of get left with this like behavior that just adds to stuttering. That's kind of what secondaries are. So you can reduce them, but it's hard to because it's a habit. And then the kind of sounds coming out were just me trying to get the sound out, me trying to get something moving to where it was productive. And also I do that because like I'm afraid people won't know that I'm like talking if it's silent. So then if I can get any sound to come out, I'll do that. And that's kind of where it is for me is my nose, it'll come out. Not productive though, right? Like sounds that come out of your nose are like M, N, and ing, but like a T sound doesn't. And so it's not helpful to do that. It's just something that comes with this very tense moment of stuttering. Um, so there's that. Kind of other things to discuss in terms of blocking and understanding the block. That's kind of what the request was, is kind of understanding what's happening. Are kind of like the feelings about what you're doing and what's happening. So the thing about any stuttering, but especially blocking when you can't get anything out, is a lot of times people who stutter are just kind of like building their anxiety as they're blocking because like you feel how long your 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 taking, and you get uncomfortable the longer it goes, and that makes it worse sometimes because then you get more tense and then you're just stuck and you keep getting stuck and then it's just hard. And so that's the other thing that happens is like we just get more and more anxious and that makes it worse and it's hard. And so um, that's the other aspect of blocking. And so I'm gonna make another video shortly about kind of like how can you reduce blocking. It's certainly not that simple, but there are some things that we can do to help us to where we're having more productive, more like easier stuttering, and it's not as effortful. I mean, blocking can be really almost painful with how much tension there is, and all this secondary behaviors and stuff like that, and the anxiety and stuff. And so, yeah, so stay tuned for another video about kind of how do you deal with blocking. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope this was helpful and educational and answered your viewer request. Anyway, I will see you all later. Bye.